So I originally planned to record this after I beat ZA, but okay, I don't want to spoil it, but I've been playing the game a lot and I've not beat the main story yet. I've just been dicking around, so I haven't beat it yet, so I can't record my review of it fully yet. So I just thought I would record this now because I need something to record for Wednesday because I'm recording this on Monday. So yeah, but today it's not going to be a great video because today I'm talking about the problem with modern Pokemon games. Now, I'm not the first one to make this video, and I definitely won't be the last, but since, this is literally what basically killed Pokemon for me, I I really should, get into it. So yeah, we'll get right into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about, though, is the fact that, in 20 years' time, it's going to be hard to play modern Pokemon games. Pokemon games on the Switch, I mean. Because, starting with Gen 1 to 7, you can literally play the whole game on the cartridge. Sure, they're kind of harder to play now because, obviously they're old games. It's hard to find them sometimes. But even then, if you do have one, even if it's a fake copy, it's the whole game, you don't need to download anything or buy anything. Whereas with modern Pokemon games, the full game isn't on the cartridge. You have to do an update immediately for, all the extra content. And then it's not even on the cartridge still. You have to, if you take it out and put in a different Switch with a different account, it needs to do the update again. So, yeah, it's kind of annoying, a little bit. I mean, I don't even think Breath of the Wild does that, does it? I have no idea. I'm going to be comparing Pokemon to Breath of the Wild a lot, probably. So, yeah, it's really dumb. It actually really is. I don't really like that. Also, I don't know if this is just me, but it's kind of starting to feel like everything is behind a paywall now. Because, obviously you have to buy the game, that's not an issue. But even then, the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Pokemon Legends EA is, £60 or £80. Whereas, or dollars, sorry. Whereas, the Switch version, the first Switch 1 version I got on Amazon was only $42, which is pretty reasonable for a game, to be fair. It's why are games so expensive? I know, the whole cost of living tariffs, but it kind of has nothing to do with that, with all of the other things you have to pay for. Because, you literally have to pay to use the Mega Kala starters. I've talked about this before, but it really bothers me. You legit have to pay. I had enough funds on my Switch. If I didn't, I wouldn't have done this at all, but I had enough on my Switch, so I just thought I would get Switch Online for 3 months, which is plenty of time to get the Mega Kala starters. I have the Greninja, but I'm still waiting for the other two to release, but still, I shouldn't have to. They should just be in the game, And, pay for it with, in-game currency all you want, that's fine. But, real currency? Are you having a laugh? Seriously? And then there's also the DLC, which I'll talk about in a second. Also, a lot of people have also talked about this. This is one that definitely people have noticed. ZA is kind of exempt from this, though. Every Pokemon game has to be rushed out for a deadline now, which is kind of getting ridiculous. Back in the day, they used to always take, a break year to, for the developers, and then they'd always come out, within 3 years of each other or something. Pretty sure Gen 2 came out 3 years after Gen 1, and then the same for Gen 3 and Gen 2, and then so on and so on. It was kind of with Generation 6 that this kind of started, because, we got, we got X and Y, obviously. Then we got, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then we got 2015 where we didn't get a mainline Pokemon game, so that was the break year. And then Gen 7 happened, obviously, and then Ultra Sun and Moon, and then this is when it started to get crazy. This is when they started pumping out games left and right, because then we got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. The year after that, we got Sword and Shield. Then we got the Sword and Shield DLC. Then the year after that, we got Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And then literally a couple months later, we got Legends Arceus. Then a few months later in the same year, we got Scarlet and Violet. Then the year after that, we got the Scarlet and Violet DLC. And we never had a break year until 2024. So, yeah, it was getting a bit crazy. I'm glad that you actually decided to take a break with the games for Legends EA, but it was getting a bit beyond with how many games you were pumping out. It really was. It was way too many. And they're all so rushed, It's, awful. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl wasn't made by Game Freak, it was made by a different studio, so that one I can sort of let slide, but also, the Generation 4 remakes should have been treated so much better than that, instead of rushing out what are now my least favorite Pokemon games of all time, you should have took your time with them, have Game Freak make them, and even if you wanted to keep the original style, that's fine. At least add new content into it and add new Pokemon like every other remake and redesign the goddamn characters. Oh my god. Sorry. Have I mentioned how much I hate Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? And then obviously they were working on Legends Arceus at the time as well, but like you could have released that the year after that, maybe. I don't know. I guess we wouldn't be here if that was the case. To be fair, so yeah. And also, Legends Arceus is quite rushed as well. It never even had time to like be focused on because it came out in January 2022. Yeah, and then literally a month after they announced Scarlet and Violet, so everyone immediately forgot that game even existed, and we're focusing on Scarlet and Violet. And don't even get me started on Scarlet and Violet, right? Oh my god, like the story's good. Don't get me wrong, I love the story, but as games, they're some of the worst games I've ever played in my life. Like the story is fantastic, obviously, but compared to Sword and Shield, the graphics in that game are a lot better than in Scarlet and Violet, and I don't care what anyone says. A lot of people have argued me for this, but I really do prefer the Sword and Shield art style over the Scarlet and Violet one. It's just so much nicer and polished to look at, and I know people complained about the trees or whatever, but yeah, I don't really care about that. Also, another thing, this one doesn't bother me as much, but a lot of people hate this. The fact that not every Pokemon is in each game now, cause, again, from Gen 1 to 7, even if they weren't catchable in the game, they were still programmed into it. You could catch every Pokemon in every game. But then, after it started, kind of started Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, no one complained about it then, but ever since, Pokemon moved to the Switch, every Pokemon game doesn't have every Pokemon on it. Now, I think people overreacted by this. I really do, because it doesn't bother me that much. Because like, I was sad when Rockruff wasn't in Sword and Shield at first, but it was added in a DLC, so it's fine. But yeah, a lot of people were really angry at this, and again, I think they overreacted, but it is a little bit of a problem, I suppose. Like, because they said that that the reason that they were all cut from the game is because they wanted to make the graphics look better for the Switch, and that didn't really, that was just a full on lie, wasn't it? It actually was as well. So yeah, I don't entirely agree with people's reactions, but the fact that Pokemon basically lied to us about it, because like, have you seen the tail whip animation in Sword and Shield? Are you having a laugh? Like, you really prioritize that over adding more Pokemon. And sure, they did add more Pokemon when the DLC came out, which was free, by the way. The Pokemon were free. They didn't have to be paid for, so that's whatever. It's kind of a too little too late kind of thing, really. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, now, time to talk about the DLC. So, every Pokemon game, except for X and Y, well, until now, got a follow-up game. So Red and Blue got Yellow, Gold and Silver got Crystal, Ruby and Sapphire got Emerald, and then Diamond and Pearl got Platinum, Black and White got Black 2 and White 2, skip Gen 6, Sun and Moon got Ultra Sun and Moon. But a lot of people, I don't remember this, but I've heard people say it, complain that the second games, well, the third game should be DLC, which, like, I kind of get, to be fair, but I also understand why they re-released the enhanced versions. And then when they started releasing DLC, people started complaining that it should be its own game. Like, what? You literally just argued that, like, Ultra Sun and Moon should have been DLC, so why are you mad that they've made DLC now? Like, yeah. But then, it turned out that the DLC was, yeah. So the funny thing is, right, me and my friend were talking about this, how the DLC was kind of expensive, especially the Legends EA one, because it's like $20 or something. Well, £20. Sorry, I can't say dollars. It's weird. But we totally forgot about this. The Sword and Shield DLC was £26, and it's like we were like, oh, well then I guess there's not really a problem then, because the ZA is actually cheaper. And I actually did the math, and if you include the price of the DLC with the main game, ZA is actually much cheaper than the last two Pokemon games. So yeah. There you go. Technically, Legends Arceus got a little free DLC, but it wasn't anything big. So that was whatever. But yeah, the DLC I feel like should just be programmed into the game. To be honest, like, I don't want to say why I think this. I think you can kind of guess why. It goes back to my point about playing the game in 20 years' time. So yeah, but no, you have to pay for it and then download it, and then that's more money. So, like I said, everything is behind a paywall. It goes back to my original point. Because in ZA, you have to pay for the Mega Kala starters, then you have to pay for the DLC to use Mega Raichu, which makes me sad, because I really wanted to use Mega Raichu. So, there's a lot, and then also the price of the Switch 2 version is extraordinary, so all of that mounts up, and that's too much. Like, it really is. Like, oh my god. like, sure, the Switch 1 version is technically cheaper than the last two Pokemon games, but the Switch 2 version, like, I am not paying that. I'm glad I don't have a Switch 2 yet, because, oh my god. Also, side note, apparently people have been returning their Switch 2s, but I'm not getting into that right now. Like, the whole money thing is a problem with Nintendo as a whole at the moment, but I'm only focusing on Pokemon at the moment because, well, that's what I talk about. Ironically, I'm wearing a Zelda jumper, so that's funny. I think Zelda's kind of the only game right now that's not had any problems like this, so that's kind of funny. I guess that's kind of everything I have to say, really. I don't really know what else can be said, but yeah. The modern era of Pokemon, it made me fall out of love with Pokemon, and even though I'm starting to get back into it, I don't know if, like, I'm going to stick around much longer. Like, ZA was going to make or break Pokemon for me, and I will talk about that more when I finish the game and do a review of it. But for now, that's the end of this video. Do you think that this whole, like, modern age of Pokemon is a problem with, like, all the DLC and all the paywalls and how expensive it is, all of it? Let me know in the comments what you think, and if maybe you don't think there's a problem at all. But I do generally hate the graphics of Scarlet and Violet, and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is an abomination to all Pokemon. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye!